So if you're watching this video and you're someone that's, a young guy, maybe he's 22, 18, 25, 28, early 30s, or even if you're older, you definitely probably know what it's like in terms of the dating market, going out on dates, trying to find a good woman, things like that. And even if you're a girl listening to this, if you're someone who's trying to navigate the dating world nowadays, I can't speak from a girl's experience, but I know it's difficult on both sides. In this video, I want to talk a little bit about kind of my experience, with dating, what I found to quote work, and what you should really focus on. And most guys waste their prime years, chasing girls who don't even respect them, right? They think that, all this attention they're getting equals love. Maybe they think that the chasing equals them quote unquote winning, but at the end of the day, the truth is the second you stop chasing women and start chasing your internal purpose or what you want to do in your life, your whole entire life can change, right? Quite frankly, women aren't going to be drawn to desperation, right? They're not going to be drawn to someone who's constantly needing that validation or constantly trying to hit them up. They're drawn to a man with direction. And when you finally become the man who doesn't need her, it's really when she wants you the most. And unfortunately, this is kind of the reality of the world. Not always the case, but I'm not suggesting that you completely ignore women altogether, or if you're a girl, you can completely ignore men altogether. Because at the end of the day, I do think that dating is still important. I don't advocate for someone to make stupid choices. However, I still think it's a totally fine thing to go out on dates. And a lot of people, the self-improvement gurus, or the people that talk to young men out there, they'll say oh, focus on yourself, just don't date in your 20s. And, I don't necessarily agree with that. I land somewhere in the middle. I think that you shouldn't go out of your way to try to go on a date with every girl there is. But if you do find a good woman that, really wants the best for you and truly loves you, and is going to support you in your goals, why wouldn't you keep her around? Quick story time for myself. I throughout my 20s, college and stuff, and even after college, I went on a lot of dates with girls, and I met some of them on, dating apps, maybe Instagram, even in person, the gym, and I've went on a good amount of dates. And although at the time I thought it was fun, most of the time, man, I was just almost forcing myself to go out on these dates so I could learn how to have a conversation with the girls and really kind of just get that experience, quote unquote. But looking back, man, it was sometimes just a waste of time. Now, I'm with a girl now that is an amazing woman I've been with for over a year now, and she truly supports everything I do and is a very good girl, man. She does a lot for me, and I treat her well. She treats me well. And I've just noticed that my focus and my ability to solely focus on my business stuff, my work, even this YouTube thing, it allows me more time to focus on what I want to focus on. And I guess the point I'm trying to make, you got people LeBron James, for instance, say what you want about the guy, but he's arguably the GOAT of basketball, if not top two, right? And he's been dating the same woman since he was 16, I believe. There's a lot of people, Conor McGregor, all these guys, there's a lot of people that have been with the same girl for a long time. And I do think that if you're a guy listening to this right now, if you do have a girl that, treats you well and truly values you, respects you, right? I don't see no reason to not keep her around, right? I feel like society, there's two polar opposites in society. There's the people that say, oh, focus on yourself, bro. Don't date these girls. Ha ha ha. Yeah, I agree. A lot of these girls aren't worth your time. But once again, if you find a good one, I don't think there's anything wrong with taking care of her, right? As long as she respects you and truly values you, right? And then on the flip side, I also don't think that you should go out there and try to date everyone you see, though, either. As a man, have purpose, have a direction, and value your time, right? Don't go ultra out of your way to try to find dates. That's not going to yield any results. And focus on becoming the best man you can be. When you focus on the women, you don't get the women. When you focus on yourself, all the women they're just there. That's just how it works. And it's not anything that's bad. Like, it's not like, I'm not saying that this is good or bad. I'm just letting you know, like, this is what I found to be kind of the truth. And like, quite frankly, like, I don't even blame them. If I was a girl, I would want a guy that has like goals for himself, right? So become that guy that has that goal, whether that's starting this business or whether that's getting that promotion or whether that's, losing these amount of pounds or weight, or, getting stronger in the gym, or maybe you're playing an instrument, or learning a new language. Like, always have some type of goal in mind that you're working towards, because, there's that one saying that people say about like, like attracting like butterflies, like with a garden, right? Like, you want to create a garden. You don't want to be out there trying to like catch these butterflies. You want to create a garden of resources, of knowledge, of charisma, right? Of humor. Just be that person that attracts them, And I've noticed this in myself. Like I said, in my early 20s and late teens, I feel like every guy goes through this where, like, because quite frankly, guys and girls do live different lives. Women and men are equal, but they do live different lives, and like, people have to stop acting like they don't. As soon as a girl turns 16, pretty much, like, especially if she's like naturally attractive, like, a lot of people want her. Like, you know what I mean? Like, the guys have crushes on them. They're pursuing them, right? So they grow up. Imagine if you were a girl, right? If you're a guy listening to this, imagine if you were a girl and as soon as you turn 16, people want you. You probably feel pretty good, right? Well, that's how they feel. So us as men, we're not necessarily used to that. Yes, do girls hit on us? Yes, they do. But I'm just saying it's still not to the same extent as most pretty women, right? So you have to take that same mindset and put it into what you want to accomplish. Have a clear vision, have a purpose, and, be the type of man that is focused on what he wants to get done, and then gives his attention to, valid things. I have a video that I posted on this channel earlier about how saying no more can lead to more yeses and being more selective with your time. It's the same thing when it comes to dating. I don't think you should completely ignore dating. I think that's stupid. I think anyone that says, oh, you shouldn't date until your 30s, like, that's just kind of dumb in my opinion. Like, why would you totally waste your 20s and not meet people, right? But I do think that if you're more selective with who you go on dates with, if you're more selective to who you, quote unquote, become boyfriend and girlfriend with, that is going to yield you better results. And quite frankly, guys, like, once again, if you meet a girl that is serious about you, you don't want to make it transactional. You don't want to like waste her time either. Like, you want to be someone where, you have clear goals and a clear direction of where you want to be, right? So like, you could chase a girl for months, or you could be chasing girls and all this stuff. And it's like, once you finally get their attention, it's like, are you sure you even like them anymore? Because like, you were chasing connection, right? You were chasing that validation. So it was never necessarily about just her. I've noticed this in my personal life. It's like, back when I used to go on a lot of dates, it's like, you're almost chasing like this feeling inside you that you're missing. Maybe it was like something you missed when you were a child. I don't know what it was, right? But it's like, when you do that, it doesn't necessarily fill the void. And anyone listening to this, if you're a younger guy or younger girl, I would strongly recommend to not give into this whole like hookup culture stuff. It's just not worth it. It doesn't yield you any positive results. And quite frankly, there's risks. Like, there's risks involved. I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm perfect. I've definitely hung out and, I've went on dates and stuff. But at the same time, what I'm just telling you is, I don't think you should waste your time on stuff that's going to not bring you any positive ROI. So you guys need to focus on becoming, not getting, right? So you got to focus on getting in shape, building your money, cultivating peace, discipline, and purpose just within yourself, right? People always talk about like masculine and feminine energy. The real masculine energy that holds power is having that discipline, purpose, peace, and just being comfortable in your own skin, right? That is what's going to help you. It's like, instead of trying to like build a house on someone else's land, what if you just built a kingdom of your own? You know what I'm saying? Like, ever since the beginning of time, it's been this way. Now we live in this messed up world, I would say the last 20 years, where girls get so much attention online that they're just used to it. I've always made this analogy, but corn for men is basically the iPhone and social media for girls. A lot of men growing up struggle with, corn. And then a lot of girls struggle with like that, like constant waves and waves of attention and views and all this stuff. And like, you really need to look out for those things, guys, because that can destroy you. And you want to know the truth? Like, it's just not worth it. It's not worth chasing women. If someone is seeing this video, if they can comment and give me a good reason on why they think chasing women is beneficial, be my guest, right? But if you're someone who wants to become better, wants to improve in their life, whether that's business, with relationships, with, their faith, with their career, their fitness, whatever it may be, you need to become the person that's comfortable in your own skin. You need to build your kingdom and have that direction and purpose in your life. Forget about chasing women. Start chasing your potential. Start building your fire. Because when you do, the right people, the right woman, right, will be drawn to it. You won't have to convince anyone. And I'm telling you guys, I'm a living example of this. Like, whenever I stopped focusing on girls and I started focusing on myself, the girls came. It's just, it's just how it works. Like, maybe you guys have had, success with chasing girls, but it's like, do you really just want to chase girls your whole life, dude? Like, I feel like there's more to life than just doing that, So go out there, go out on dates. Don't completely ignore girls. Don't completely ignore guys. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is be smart, be purposeful, right? And have like a clear goal direction where you want to go with dating. Make your intentions known, and just be a respectable man, right? Don't be a pushover, right? But don't be a jerk. Just be somewhere in the middle. Be a gentleman, right? Hold the door, all that stuff. But at the same time, if they're not going to respect you, if you're not going to value the time, then walk away. It's that simple. And, let me ask you this, guys. What's one thing you need to start working on right now to build yourself? What's one thing where if you felt that if you had this process down, or you completed this, that you'd be more confident and more comfortable in your own skin? Or what's one habit or one skill, one decision you've been putting off? Drop it in the comments. I want to hear your answers. Or, maybe comment like just some of your stories in the dating world, right? If you're a young guy out there, let me know what's your experience been with going out on dates or meeting girls in general in 2025. I'd love to hear more. I'm always wanting to hear stories from you guys. We're building a community here, and I'm very happy about it. If you like this video, please consider subscribing. I'm going to be dropping more videos, whether it comes to dating, self-improvement, business, whatever it may be. And definitely, guys, if you have any video topics, whether it's stories of myself or just informational videos for you guys, definitely drop it in the comments below. Always open to input. And, we can still all build something beautiful, and we can all become the man we want to become. Thanks, guys.